Well, that was The Cop, 1987, France, evil pays. You, I think, wanted the police to get away with it. Now we go back 30 years to 1950s Hollywood, where crime must not pay, and where film directors are not allowed to have any great degree of individuality. Thus, Orson Welles made 8 films in 20 years. In most cases, they were remade or re-edited or released in a way that did not suit him. Touch of Evil, as Orson Welles said, was not the kind of film that he had, for which he had a great affinity. He didn't particularly like thrillers, but he liked filmmaking, and the only way that he could work was to take a standard film idea and bring to it his unique style and his unique ability to produce the good line at the right time and the bravura piece of film direction which would make you sit up and take notice. I'm sure you will all notice that the first scene in the film is a continuous tracking shot. He calls attention to it, you're forced to look at it. It's artificial, it's deliberately artificial, but it's a bravura piece of the film director showing you what he wants you to see. There's another sequence that comes later in the film where one man is killing another man. It all takes place in a room of about 3 meters square. But the compositions, the use of the camera, the use of editing, produce a totally horrific effect of violence, purely by the techniques of film editing and Mr. Welles's enormous skill. It's an artificial film in every possible way. There is nothing about it that seems real. The dialogue is all added afterwards, the sound effects are artificial, but it all adds up to an extraordinary energy and tension. And it's a case of style surmounting content. One of the problems with the film and with a filmmaker is that the film was taken away from him by the studio who paid for him to make it. And while Orson Welles was planning another film in South America on Don Quixote, they rejigged the complicated and convoluted structure of the film to make it, quotes, easier to understand. Mr. Welles disowned this version as being a travesty of his own work. It was poorly received when it came out in America. It was shown in Europe, considered a masterpiece, given a first prize at the Brussels World Fair in 1958, and poor Mr. Welles had to go to Brussels, receive the prize, and have the extraordinary dilemma that we filmmakers always face, is to take the plaudits and applause for a film that we have just recently disowned. I'm sure he did it with great grace, because everything Mr. Welles ever did was with great grace. But fortunately tonight, thanks to the BBC's well-known policy of giving value for money, you will be able to see the entire original version, as Mr. Welles intended it, of Touch of Evil, which runs to 105 minutes.